Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe.
Caw, caw, caw!
Long before zombie movies and vampires on TV,
back in the days of characters and candlelight,
the master of blood-curdling stories was a man named Edgar Allan Poe.
Poe wrote about murders and morgues,
about gargoyles and graveyards,
and this tale about a man who has lost his mind.
What? I am not crazy. You may think I am, but I am not.
And thus the tale begins. It starts with the old man who shares an apartment with our villain.
Yes, that is right. The old man.
Would you kindly bring me some tea?
Of course. I'll be right there with a morning paper too.
Thank you very much. You do not look well today. Didn't you get any sleep last night?
I am fine, old man. If anything, my senses are especially keen.
You seem to have a headache. Let me get up. I'll fix you something.
No. You just enjoy your tea.
Such a kind-hearted old man.
True enough, the old man had never done me any harm. But he had this one sickly eye. It was like the eye of a vulture. Whenever it looked at me, my blood ran cold. So slowly, over time, I made up my mind to kill him.
He made up his mind.
I was not crazy. It was his evil eye. It haunted me. It bewildered me. It drove me from the room. I had to rid myself of that evil eye. I set about the task. Night after night, I crept into the old man's room.
He shone the light upon the eye.
But every night, the eye was closed. So I waited. After all, it was not the old man who vexed me, but his evil eye.
The evil eye.
On the 8th night, I crept into the old man's room. I heard him sit up in bed.
He cried out.
It was a groan of mortal terror, a low, stifled sound from the bottom of his soul.
Who's there?
I remained still. For hours, I stood without moving, barely breathing. And then I shone my light, a single beam upon the eye.
It was open.
Wide open, and it made me furious to look upon it. Dull blue with that hideous milky film over it. It chilled the very marrow in my bones.
The vulture's eye.
And then I heard it.
The beating of the old man's heart.
Faster and faster and faster.
Louder and louder and louder.
It increased my fury. Couldn't stand it no longer. I leapt.
Ah!
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 Smiled. Then the deed was done. Yet, for many minutes, the old man's heart beat on. Then it finally ceased. I examined the corpse. The old man was dead. Stone dead.
It was over.
The heart was still.
The eye was closed forever.
The eye wouldn't trouble me no more.
An hour later, there came a knock at the door.
It was the police.
There's been a complaint.
Your neighbors.
They called.
A scream was heard.
Like this. Ah!
Yes. Ah!
Ah!
Or at least that's what your neighbors were saying.
Suspicious, don't you think?
Yes, the shriek of terror. It was my own, during a dream.
Or a nightmare.
May we come in?
Look around.
Investigate.
The villain invited them in.
Yes, I invited them in. I wasn't worried, for I had carefully concealed the body of the old man beneath the floorboards. No human eye, not even his, could have detected anything wrong. There was no stain, no blood whatsoever. I had been too clever for that.
Who else lives here with you, sir?
Yes. Whom do you live with?
And why isn't he here?
Ah, the old man. He is away. You see, there's his room. His bed is made. His belongings are in place.
Is something wrong?
You seem to have a headache.
You should sit down.
Yes, a fine idea. Perhaps would you join me for a spot of tea?
A spot of tea?
That would be lovely.
Yes, a spot of tea.
He served them
tea.
Indeed, for what had I to fear? I served them tea above the very spot where I had hidden the corpse.
Ah, this is fine tea.
They say green tea is good for you, too.
But I'd have to say Darjeeling is my favorite.
The officers chatted. I had fooled them well. Could a crazy man have done that?
But soon our villain wished them gone.
I grew pale. Why wouldn't they leave?
Lots of strange things happening these days.
People acting oddly.
Like there's something in the air.
Then there came a ringing in my ears.
A muffled buzzing sound.
No doubt, I grew very, very pale. I raised my voice, but still they chatted.
The countryside must be nice this time of year.
Yes. Peaceful, I'd say.
What with the fall colors and all.
The buzzing grew louder until I realized it wasn't buzzing at all, but like a ticking sound.
Like that of a watch or a clock.
Or a time bomb. Tick, tick, tick.
I paced to and fro. I clutched my head, but they continued to blather on as if nothing was wrong.
A walk in the woods, why it clears the mind.
Much like this tea.
Yes, it's good for the soul.
The noise grew louder, and then I knew for what it was.
Louder, louder, louder.
Couldn't they hear it? I paced the floor with heavy strides. I hissed. I gestured with my arms.
Anyway, why do they call it Darjeeling?
I think it has something to do with where it's grown.
In India, unless I'm mistaken.
Then it came to me. They knew. They were mocking me with their innocent smiles and sips of tea.
Oh, the agony.
Well, all seems well here.
We should be reporting back to the station.
Thank you kindly for the tea, young man.
Louder. Louder still! I can bear it no longer.
He could bear it no longer.
Villains! Monsters! I did it! I confess. Tear up the floor. Here! Here! It's the beating of the old man's hideous heart. That's right. I did it. I shan't tell you what happened next, nor shall I tell you what's to happen now. If you don't stop staring at me with your vulture eyes.